In this video, we're going to have a look at Microsoft Planner. We're going to create a plan, work through the whole process, and I'm going to do it from the browser. You can create plans directly into Teams, and you can also link them into Teams once you've created them in the browser, but you're going to miss some of the functionality there. So I wanted to do it in here to show you the rich functionality that was available. And I can go into the Teams after and show you how to link it there. So, I'm in Planner. You're going to come into Planner. You can access it from any other Microsoft application. It's just looking at those 9 dots in the top left-hand corner and selecting Planner, and you've got the green icon. And as soon as you're in here, you'll be able to see any plans that have already been created. It's telling me to get the app, so I can create these on the go and move around and create them a lot easier on my mobile devices. But on the left hand side there, I've got new plan. So I'm going to jump in and create a new plan straight away and talk you through the process. So I'm going to title my new plan. I'm just going to call it new plan. And then it's asking me to add to an existing Microsoft 365 group. So this is super important that you do this, because if you don't, you won't be able to link it to the right team later on down the line. If you don't want to link it to a team and you want it to be a personal plan, then absolutely don't link it. But I would definitely click in there and select one of your teams that you have access to on Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go for Teams Training. It's going to add to that group, and that just means that I can add it to that team, a channel within that team, or multiple channels within that team going forward. I can also create a new group as well if one doesn't already exist, and I'm going to create that plan. So it's just going to take a few seconds, and immediately I get brought straight into my plan. I can see at the top it's in Teams Training, that's the team that it's linked to. I've got board, charts and schedule, so I've got different views at the top, and I've got 3 dots where I can see more things, including plan settings, where I can go and change the name and export plan to Excel and copy link as well. So lots of great options in there. I can see members at the top here. I've got 2 members in here because I've linked it to a team. Everyone in the team can access it. And I've got something called group by bucket, and I've got filters, but I haven't put anything in there yet. So let's start to add some content and then we'll see what's going on. So Planner works with buckets. You can put tasks into buckets and see them work across. Your buckets could be part of a process like to do, in progress, blocked and done. Or there could be to do, and they could have different project names. So you might have a different bucket for each project that your team is working on, or each piece of a project that your team is working on. It's really up to you, but I would create your buckets before you start to create your tasks. And then if you're working on this collaboratively, everyone can start jumping in their own tasks as soon as the setup has been created. So to do is automatically there, and so is done. So what I'm going to do is go to here and add new bucket, and I'm just going to pop in progress. That's my new bucket, press enter, and it's there. And I'm also going to put a blocked one, so I know if I've got any blockers on any work that myself and any of the team are doing. So I'm going to put blocked in and press return. Just useful to know, you have got 3 dots there. You can rename it, delete that bucket, and you can move it left. So you can change the order of the buckets on your screen, and you can still add more. I'm going to scroll back to do, and you can see there I've got a nice way of working already. I've got a nice visual Kanban, which is a project management tool where I can see tasks moving from one side to the other in front of me already. I'll go to the other views, chart and schedule, once we've added some tasks. So I'm just going to click on add task, and I get a nice pop-up box. I'm going to put a task name in. So create comms. Pop anything I want in there. That's changeable as much as I want. I can select the relevant due date. I'm going to give myself a week, and then I can leave it unassigned, or I can assign it to myself or anyone else in the team. So I'm going to assign it to myself. Clicking away from that, and then I can just click add task to add that. And there we go. We've got create comms down the bottom. Just click away and it removes that add task. So now we've created that task. I've done it in the to-do bucket. So it's going to be in the to-do stage. If I added a task in progress, then it's going to be in the progress stage. When I hover over my task, I've got 3 dots. So I'm going to go into the 3 dots first and see what I can do there. So in Planner, you've also got labels that are available. And I can change the labels to be anything I want. Something that could be quite useful is you could use a label to see how far along a task is. So 100%, 80, 60, 40, 20 or 0. So you can use that as a visual cue to see your work or your team's work and how far they're through moving those tasks across. Again, it's quite a useful Kanban sort of project management tool there to look at workloads. You might see that someone's only got 1 task on there and you might want to assign them more, but if they're 0% through it and it's going to take them a while, you might want to have a look and see if anyone else is near the end of their tasks. So when I look at labels to start off, at the moment I can just see the colours. So this is preset to colours. I'm going to go in a few minutes and change those and show you how you can make those different. I can add more assignees or change it. I can copy the task so I don't have to keep creating it. I can have a link to it. I can move it to a different bucket and I can delete it just on those 3 dots. So loads of options there, but I haven't got all of the options. So to have all of the options, I will just click on the task and then it pops up for me. So I can change the bucket here nice and quickly. I can change a progress to in progress and completed, but it doesn't always give you that detailed information about how far they're through. I can change my priority setting and I can always put a start date as well. So we can look at how long it's taken this task to do. I've got a notes section where I can add information on the task. And I've got a checklist. So this task can be broken down into small parts. I'm just going to pop in a couple of options, press return, and you can see there it starts to create me a checklist. I'm going to be able to tick these off when I've done these pieces of work. Get sign off. So I can add these in as much as I want. There is an automatic tick there for show on card as well. So I'll be able to visually see these on my main screen when we go back in a second. I can even add attachments in there, so evidence or anything else to help support that task. I've got comments as well as notes, so I can make comments on how far I am along with the task, why it's maybe blocked, and all sorts of other things to keep the whole team updated on how I'm getting on. So it's super useful to get a really honest, open visual idea of what everyone's doing in the team. You can see how productive everyone is and also make sure people have got their support that they need to continue working. Especially if we're all working from home, it's super important to be able to have access to what's going on. Just on this right hand side here, I can see the colours, I can see the labels, and this is where I can change them. And I would suggest changing them before you link them to any task so that they stay what you've changed them to. So when I click on green, you will see the cursor's popped up and I'm going to put green in as 100%. And then I'm going to click on them all one at a time and just pop a different percent in there, like I mentioned before, so that I can track this and I know exactly how far everyone in the team is. So I've got it in 20%. You can use it for something totally different. You can have it for different buckets. You can have it for different projects if you just want to have buckets and a different colour for each project, so you've got it all in one place. You can do whatever you want with this. But I've just added those bits of information there, and I'm gonna select 40%. Click on that tick, sorry, 0%. I'm gonna select that. I've clicked on the tick, so I've now added that label. So when I come to the top, I'm gonna click on the cross, and you can see there, I've now added my checklist. So I've got a couple of tasks that I can see visually, and I've also there, I've got that label to show that it's 0%. So everyone else knows what I need to do to get and where I am along with that task. As soon as I've actioned something, so when I've done the email templates, I can tick it without even going into the task, and it's disappeared for me. So I just see what's still outstanding. And remember, I can click on those 3 dots, and I'm just gonna change that label to 20% instead. Once you've added that 20% label, I need to go in and take off the red one, because you can have multiple labels at the same time, but it depends on how you want to work with them. You might, if you use them for different projects, you might have a task that is relevant to more than one project, and it'd be nice and useful to label them that way. So clicking on the 3 dots again, I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it from to do to in progress, because I'm now at 20%, so I've got things going, so it's moved there. I can click and complete anything that I've got to do. So I'm going to get sign off done, and then I'm going to change my label to 100% and take off the 20% so that we know exactly what it is. It's not confusing at all. And then I've got my radio button here where I can tick and complete that task, and I just want to show you what that looks like. So tick to complete, and I can see it was in the in progress section, so I've now completed it. And click on that arrow, and you can see things that are now completed. It's crossed through, but I've got that great visual of what is going on, what's been completed, but I can hide them as well, so I can focus on what is still to do. The final thing I want to show you in here is the charts, so you can see what I've got going on, or what everyone's got going on in the project, and the schedule as well will give you the tasks in a diary, a calendar format. So you can see then what's due to be done on each day. So if you've got any pinch points, any times when yourself or the team is really going to struggle, these are just going to help you have great visuals of what to do, and you can usually add tasks in at any screen to do all of that. So really great to get started with a planner. I've created it, it's part of Teams training, and I'm just going to go into my Teams application now and quickly show you how you can add it in there. So I'm going to reduce my video down, and you can see I'm in Microsoft Teams. I need to go to the team that's relevant. So in Teams training, I'm going to go into Project Docs, and I'm just going to add planner. So I'm going to add it as a tab. So when I come to the top and click on the plus, I'm going to add my planner in by selecting planner. And then I've kind of got the option here to create a brand new one. Like I said, you can do that here, but you do miss some of that functionality. I do think the first time you do it, I would definitely do it from the browser, and then I would start creating them from Teams going forward. So click to use existing plan from this team, and then click on the drop down, and you can see my new plan is there. You can also post to the channel about this tab, so everyone in the team will know that's been added, and just click on save, and that's going to add. So it may take a few seconds, but it's going to create its own plan and its own tab, and then add all of that to it. So I can see my completed task, and I can now go in and add more tasks and work on them in exactly the same way. And I've got board, I've got charts, and I've got schedule at the top, and I've got group by bucket, but you are missing a few bits of functionality there. Everything else though is exactly the same. So I can add tasks and I can work my way through them. So if you haven't already used Planner, definitely have a go. Open it up in a browser first, have a look at how it works. That's generally how I use most of the applications before I start linking them to Teams and using them within Teams. just so you get super comfy with them, because you will notice a few changes once they're in there. But once you've created that planner, then definitely link it to the team that you've added to in one of the channels. You can add it to multiple channels, so no matter which channel your team go into, they can access the planner. It's not going to create a copy, it's the same thing. It's just accessible in any channel, which is really useful from a productivity point of view.